Right, Steve, we've got an FA Cup semi-final weekend coming up. This is our Road to Wembley, and it's brought us to the office with two microphones.
Very close to Wembley.
Very close to Wembley, and we're on it because somehow it's Coventry versus Man United in an FA Cup semi-final.
I mean, as underdogs go, Man United are really up there this season. Like making it to the semi-final of an FA Cup, they're unheard of for a team playing as badly as they are.
This is Coventry beat Leeds 2-1 a couple of weeks ago, and I was on top of the world, and it was our best performance of the season, and I thought, we're going to do it. Since then, we've lost to Southampton, and at the weekend we lost 3-0 to Birmingham, putting in our worst performance of the season. So we're not in great form either. Why are Man United so bad this season?
A lot of reasons. A lot of it is obviously pointing back to the manager. I don't want to call for managers' heads very often, but
it's got to go.
He's probably got to go. He's probably got to, regardless of the trophy. You might even end up with a Lou Van Gaal situation where he walks in the press conference with the trophy at the end of the year. Very unlikely, because we probably know how that second semi-final is going to go. That we'll touch on later. But yeah, Man United's problems, it stems from some players in key areas just not being up to the task. You see him like Casemiro.
He was a really incredibly elite midfielder, 3 years ago?
Last year,
you reckon?
He got double figures goals. He notched up a few assists, and we genuinely had I think we had 7 clean sheets in a row between January and March. He beating Barcelona, winning the Carabao Cup against a decent enough Newcastle team. He was fantastic in all those games. And this season, since probably Bayern away, he scored twice at the Allianz, which is funny because
he's not meant to be a goal scorer. Why are we judging him on goals? He used to lock down with Kroos and Modric any midfielder in Europe, and now he couldn't even lock his own house.
he seemingly struggles to do it, but you see him sort of get forward, and you see him in this team. He plays alongside Kobbie Mainoo, which is bizarre because Mainoo is a better attacker and
a better defender.
And a better defender, a better midfielder, possibly better at everything.
Just a better bloke.
At the moment. Well, I guess we're still looking at us, he's probably alright. But it's bizarre watching him because he's a better striker than he is defensive midfielder by all intents and purposes this season, and his legs have truly gone. And I don't think that's the main reason. One of the main reasons is also we implement a very strong man-to-man way of, I'd say defending, you wouldn't really call it defending because we don't defend. It's sort of just everybody marks someone in the other side of the field, centre-backs maybe stay near the keeper, see what happens, see the big space, just sort of look at it. So yeah, I think genuinely, as long as Coventry are organised, they have a very, very good shot at reaching the FA Cup final. I think all you need to beat Manchester United is organisation and discipline.
I mean, we've just conceded 3 goals to Birmingham, so I can't say they're organised. They're the second worst team in the Championship, although they were before the weekend. So I don't think we're that organised, but I'm a little bit excited about coming. I wanted Chelsea when the draw was made because they're terrible, but
we lost to Chelsea.
Yes,
so we're the next best thing.
And they also have Cole Palmer, who is objectively a brilliant footballer, and he would win a game on his own.
Yeah,
I don't think
Kobbie Mainoo isn't winning on his
Rashford is. This will come back to bite me. He's out of form. Garnacho's brilliant.
Garnacho's good, but again, manager stuff. Looks unhappy at Bournemouth. He looks knackered, to be honest. I mean, I know you've got a week off now, before we even get to the Wembley at all, but he looks knackered. A lot of players look knackered. Hoyland's sort of out of sorts, and I mean, obviously looking at Coventry over the weekend, Coventry to me have been sort of a team ready for the Premier League. You see, Ipswich have come up this season and everything's happening, and they might be a Premier League team next year, possibly ahead of schedule. This feels like Martin Robbins has written his story many years ago, and he's fine waiting in the Championship, waiting for the moment when the teams that come down are a little bit weaker, and he can just maybe get a second, maybe win the playoffs. He came so close last year.
This season has been a transition with obviously Jokeres and Hainer leaving and all the new players come in.
Yeah.
So now we're at a stage where Ellis Sims has turned into a great signing. Hadji Wright's been great, and we're not going to finish in the playoffs this year. Pretty much confirmed it this weekend. But we've got a random bonus of an FA Cup semi-final, which in a transition season is incredible. Talking of transitions, what a transition this is!
Transitions.
The pace. If we can sit with a low block and let Man United have the ball and bring you onto us and sit deep and then hit you on the counter-attack with the likes of Sims and Hadji Wright and Milan Van Avik, who are all rapid, I think that's where the success lies in the game for Coventry. If Man United are not at it. I mean, if you play a 7 or 8 out of 10, you're going to score 4 or 5 goals.
I don't think we're capable of that at all this season.
But I think you score goals when you are counter-attacking.
Yeah.
So by letting you have the ball and letting you come onto us, and us being a counter-attacking team, I think is the way we're going to have to try and play, to try and nick a couple of goals.
Almost the worst thing you could do is have a 1-0 lead at half time.
Mm.
If you can get to 60 minutes and it's 0-0, you will probably win that game. But it's almost like United is such a strange team to watch. They need the motivation to try, which is bizarre. So, like, if you go into a game trailing at half time, they're probably going to do something in the second half, like we saw against Liverpool.
Mm.
It's almost like you need the opposition to be comfortable with the ball, and then you strike, which is bizarre because when you play a championship team, you're likely probably not going to be comfortable with the ball for more than half an hour.
The thing is, obviously, the main statistic for Man United this season is the amount of shots they've conceded. I don't think anyone's been truly clinical against Man United.
No.
I'm not expecting us to be clinical against Man United. But from my point of view, Man United are very clinical in attacking areas. In terms of, you can say it's bollocks, I think it's reasonably...
There's truth behind it.
If you look at... there was a game, Man United always seemed to... I think it was the Brentford game, right?
Yeah.
Terrible throughout the entire game.
Awful.
96th minute, scored what looked like the winner.
Yeah.
Mason Mount, I think it was.
Yeah.
Ignore what happens after that. That was just hilarious. But it feels like Man United will always score at some point.
Yeah.
You've scored 9 goals in 3 games against Liverpool and Chelsea. And
look, a bit of that against Bournemouth on the weekend as well. Like Bournemouth, if they could have just... Like Diogo Dalot sort of gets told to invert and come into the midfield, and that means that if you've got a back 3, and it's like, I think it was like the 29th different variation of the back 4 that we were playing on Saturday or something. If you've got a different team that isn't used to him stepping up, like Camboila's brand new, he doesn't really know how to cover a fullback.
He's a vibes merchant, isn't he?
I quite like him. I like he gets his little Bible out before games. It's quite nice.
Every time he makes a tackle.
He did it against Chelsea. He started doing that to the crowd, and then like 10 minutes later, he's like, wasted the time, mate. Wasted the time. But yeah, it's sort of, if you can get in that gap, whoever plays on the left for Coventry, I'm not sure which one it actually is. Had you right? I thought he might have been off the right, given the name.
He'll probably play on the left.
Yeah. So if he can just sort of exploit that space, you saw it a lot this weekend with Milos Kerkez at Bournemouth. It's quite easy to just get around them. And you will, once you're in the box, it's almost like the players freeze and go, I've got a blocking position.
Shot.
I will stand in front of the bit where you're most likely to shoot, try and beat Onana. And unfortunately, you will probably beat Onana if you just hit it at him with a good bit of pace. So
I think quickly run through what you think the Man United starting 11 will be.
Yeah. Net Onana, right back.
It'd be Wan-Bissaka and Dalot at full back, will it?
Yeah, because we don't have anyone else. Yeah. I would be tempted to put Wan-Bissaka on Hadji right, so put him on the right because Dalot is probably better off the left anyway. So put Dalot on the left, put Wan-Bissaka on the right. Maguire left centre back. Camboiala will have to be right centre back because again,
is Varane and Evans out?
Yeah, Varane's out till next month. I think Evans might be back, but he's probably.
Weirdly, I'd rather play against Johnny Evans than Camboiala. I don't know why that is.
You'd rather play against Harry Maguire than Johnny Evans.
I like Harry Maguire.
I like Harry Maguire. I like Harry Maguire. Johnny Evans has been the best centre back at the club this season. Unbelievable. We signed him as a joke, and it was just like, okay. And now he's started 2 games against Liverpool and drawn on 1. So what a man. No, he didn't win. He didn't start. Sorry.
Midfield. Casemiro starting. That's all I need to.
Yeah, Cassie at the base, alongside Mainu, Fernandes in the 10. I mean, looking at the wings, I wouldn't start Rashford. I wouldn't start him. I think bring him off the bench. He don't have no involvement, but I think a player like where he is at the moment, bring him off the bench with 20 minutes to go, running at a tired defence, a defence that isn't used to playing on the big stage, and is probably going to be just fighting on desire at that point. If it's 0-0 or you 1-0 down, that's when you get the best out of him. So with England in the World Cup last year, like Southgate gets a lot of criticism for not playing him and starting him, but sometimes against that tight defence, he's the man you want. You look at Grealish coming on in the Euros a few years ago, and he's good, but Rashford gives you the option to cross or shoot or run the line, or find your fullback, or his passing's quite good. He can switch it quite easily.
So you start.
So I start Garnacho on the left, and I start Ahmad on the right.
I think Ahmad will. He's shown how good he is against Championship teams last season.
Well, that's what I mean. He sort of knows the opposition. I think he just reward players. He got you there. Just reward him. It's a normal thing to do. He's not had a very good season because he hasn't been playing. Just give him a run out. And up front, it's obviously going to be Highland. That bench could be anything. That bench could be a full under-18s team.
And Marcus Rashford.
And Marcus Rashford.
like the babysitter at the creche.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony wasn't invited to Bournemouth on the weekend due to personal problems, so God knows if he'll even be in the squad.
Okay, interesting. The issue I have with Cov is that we have one glaring weakness right now, and it's the fact that we're playing a centre-back, Joel Asodier, right back. And
saw a bit of discourse on Twitter.
the thing is, I really like him as a player. He's a centre-back and he plays in centre midfield for Jamaica, right? Yeah. He's been brilliant in both of those positions for us. We've now had an injury at right wing, which meant we've pushed Van Avaak to right wing because of his pace, and we're putting Lillibury at right back. And I worry because Man United's best player plays on the left wing.
Yeah.
And he's very quick. So I don't know if Mark Romans is going to change things up.
Maybe 3 at the back, maybe.
Well, we've played 3 at the back quite a lot this season. It's gone very badly, but it's potentially an option. I think Van Avaak might have to play at right back, and we might have to play someone like Fabio Tavares, or we don't have many options, to be honest.
No,
we're limited on options. Callum O'Hare should start because Casey Palmer's suspended, which is a disgrace, by the way.
What happened there?
He's got 2 yellow cards in the FA Cup this season.
Right.
He got a yellow card at Sheffield Wednesday and a yellow card in the last round for celebrating against Wolves.
It's disgusting.
And that means he's suspended for the semi-final, whereas Ahmad got sent off.
He did.
And is allowed to play because he served his suspension in the league.
That's bollocks.
So Casey Palmer might as well run on the pitch and punch the ref.
Yeah.
And got sent off.
Slide tackle a fan.
So that we're weakened in that area, and then it'll be Bright on the left, Sims up front, Jake Bidwell at left back. Superb this season. Eccles and Sheaf in midfield.
I've heard amazing things about Eccles and Sheaf. They're gonna make it playing around with Casemiro a little bit, making him move.
I'd worry that they'll probably just be having to deal with Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo, which is obviously a big challenge. Callum O'Hare on Casemiro is where it's at. I think let's move to a little score prediction. I think there's going to be goals in the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to Wembley on Sunday and I want a goal that matters. That's all. I'm setting my kind of aspirations quite low. I think we're going to get goals at both ends. I think it's probably going to end 3-1 Man United.
3-1 Man United.
Because I can't see us stopping you scoring a decent amount of goals.
Do you think you score first?
I think we equalise.
I think you equalise and then it just gets away.
A lot of celebrations. No. I'll have that moment. I'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, I think you'll score.
So it's such a tough game to call. I think we're going to get some extra time. I think Coventry score after the 60th minute. I can already see it in my head. Callum O'Hare just walking past Casemiro, who's probably distracted by someone selling like a can of pop in the stands or something. And
a late equaliser.
Really late. Ahmad comes off his arse. It's the
Bruno dive.
Yeah. It screams that. And then probably Coventry will just be worn to the rope and just be you've got no chance against a team that can bring on fresh players. And I'm not going to say Anthony scores the winner, but someone odd is going to score the winner, like Dallo.
Again, we don't have
edge of the box curl.
We don't have any attacking subs we can bring on, which might hamper us if it goes to extra time.
I'll say 2-1 after extra time.
Okay. Would I take that? No, I'll take
that. You don't want the extra time.
No.
You'd rather just get
extra time. Yeah, you're right. Right, let's quickly discuss the other semi-final because apparently there's another one going on. Man City Chelsea on Saturday evening. I've got no idea why. It goes against all logic. I feel like I can see
back in the Chelsea.
I can feel myself back in the Chelsea, and I don't. I think it's just because, for both of our perspective, I'm like, imagine if Man City are out. Imagine how excited we'll be for that.
They've got to focus on the league. The first. Champions League. That's so much more important.
There's no rhyme or reason why I think Chelsea will win other than narrative and Cole Palmer against his former club.
Well, that's it. Look at the games they've played this season. Was it 4-4?
Yes,
the first
he
game
scored the penalty last minute. Yeah,
that's Premier League royalty game.
Have they played the Etihad as well? Did City beat them? Probably, didn't they?
Probably. I don't. That was recent as well, but I feel like I remember working that day and watching it.
Yeah,
and
just stop working.
I always work. I'm a busy boy.
But yeah, obviously all logic suggests that you're going to batter them because they are on fire right now, and they've been quite good in the FA Cup as well. Obviously scored 5 or 6 at Luton. They've taken it very seriously, as Pep always does.
Yeah.
Do we mention the treble again? The double
Yeah,
treble?
it's looking like they're probably the favourites in all 3 of the competitions now. Like, doesn't matter who wins out of United or Coventry, because either way, City will always be the favourites going into that game. Champions League.
They got a 3-3 at Real Madrid. Madrid aren't out of that.
That's what I mean. It's a tough game.
It will also be decided before the weekend.
Yeah.
We're filming this before the Champions League semi-finals, so we don't know how that's gone. But if they're out of the Champions League, then I feel like this takes on even more importance for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of them where it's sort of you don't want to be Chelsea if they get beat, like sort of in a Real Madrid beating fashion where they sort of come back late and Vinicius probably gets like 2 goals where he just breaks through every player on the team. That sort of City performance never usually goes without punishment in the next game to whoever they play. So it's going to be a rough one for Chelsea. They really need to stay sharp, and obviously since they beat Man United in the 4-3 game, that game was sort of like
mad.
It was mad. It was full of momentum. Anyone probably could have won that. That's not what you want against City. Like, see, you need to defend for your life for probably 85 minutes, and in the other 5 minutes, pray you score.
I think we're going to get one really boring semi-final and one really exciting one, and we've already decided that the Cov Man United one's going to be the one that's exciting. I think this is a 0-0 extra time draw, and I think this is
Chelsea love that.
Chelsea on pens at Wembley.
Chelsea on pens.
And there won't be Kepa on the pitch to have an argument with Sarri. This will be broken heart for Pep Guardiola. His treble goes up in flames.
Yeah, but then it's 2 managers scorned by the trophy.
Yes.
Jurgen Klopp was upset with it, now Pep Guardiola, and then Mark Robbins lifted it.
Maybe this is just me dreaming because I want that to
You want the
happen so
easiest
much.
draw.
And there's no way in a million years that either of us beats it.
No. Well,
You came close last year.
Well, conceding after 54 seconds is not that close.
Were you even in the ground at that point?
So the story about my FA Cup final last year is that the 2 lads that I went with, we were sat, I think, in row 10, so we were very close to the pitch, cracking seats, and they gave me the phone because there's a picture of the 2 lads. They took a picture in like 2006, or whenever it opened, at New Wembley. They were together as kids, and they're like, we want to recreate the picture. And as I stepped back with the camera on the phone.
Yeah, what year was it?
As I reel up the digital camera, no. As I step back with the phone, I can just see the net ripple, and it's just like, oh.
Did you take the picture? Because that would have been brilliant.
I think I did.
Because they wouldn't have even known.
I think I did because they're both smiling, going, "Way!" And it just me behind the cameras going, "Oh, ruined my afternoon." So yeah, no one beats City. I don't think. I think your best hope against City is frustrate them. City kind of get into a thing where if they haven't scored in the first half, they get upset with themselves. So you can kind of play themselves, and that happens probably like twice a season.
A repeat of a Manchester derby final would
be awful.
No,
we don't have 2 years in a row.
First time ever it would be a repeat FA Cup final, by the way, if it is City versus United in consecutive years. I don't know why I think Chelsea have the best chance of anyone beating City. It makes no sense. They're the worst team.
They've got really good individuals, though, don't they? So
yeah.
He's Gusto. Gusto is unbelievable.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's probably one of the. Well, I think he is, other than Palmer, Chelsea's best player. And it's very handy that they both play on the same side. Just so coincidentally.
Enzo Fernandez is excellent.
Yeah.
Caicedo is not.
They kind of rotate you as a good game, don't they?
But I think they can do something. I don't know why, but logic does dictate it's going to be Man City. You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I think City go through, and then we'll probably do a final preview close to the time.
Yeah, let's save that.
We'll squeeze that in, a little Road to Wembley extra.
It'll be a Manchester derby in the final. We both think, but I'm looking forward to Wembley anyway. I'll see how much of it I can remember, but
That's what I mean. Just get trolleyed. Get trolleyed. Worst comes to worst. Don't get trolleyed there. Also, if you are going, make sure you buy 4 pints at once because it's cheaper than buying 1 or 2 or 3.
Do you get a carry?
Facts. D-back. D-bollocks. I'll give you nothing at Wembley. Bloody feet still stick to the floor. But yeah, that is an FA Cup semi-final preview right there. Are you happy with that?
I'm delighted with it. I'm not delighted with the result we've predicted, but
no.
Yeah.
I feel like next year maybe we should do a start from the beginning. Me and you find a local club and we just follow them, see where we end up. maybe go to the games. If you want to see that, get in the comments.
It's a lovely way to end.
See you.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.